You're muted, coach. There you go.
I'm good now. Yeah. So we back here on NFC Beast. I think I had somewhat of a delay, but we good though. So we here back at it again. The NFC versus everybody. The NFC Beast. We back at it again once again. I'll be QB1 for the night. So got a great show lined up for you. So we gotta go in order. Cool at 4-0. What's going on, Cool?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good, man. I'm sure Sam is as well.
And Sam as well. What's going on, Sam?
I definitely cannot complain. My team's undefeated so far, so we'll see how this weekend goes, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my formidable foe, but my friend in real life, Ben. What's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on, Couch Coach? Man, glad to be back on. I was able to celebrate my birthday last week, so appreciate you guys for all the shout outs and everything. Feeling good, man. We 3-1. I was expecting it to go south. Y'all kind of helped me not go off the deep end, so I appreciate y'all, brother.
Absolutely. And then last but definitely not least, what's going on, Wise?
What's going on? Like I was saying off camera, off air, I'm happy at 3-1. And nobody think we'll be 3-1.
Snowman.
What up, B Snow?
Yeah,
what it do?
What up? Yeah, we here once again, and I'll be the QB1, and obviously your man Couch Coach, the Commander, in last place, last in the NFC East, but definitely not least. But we here once again.
Right now you least. Right now you least.
For now, things.
Right now
you
least.
You know how
that's like this. Yes. Right now you least.
Yeah, let them leave. Let them leave turn a little color wise. We'll see what really happens. But we here once again. Yeah, so see that's how we roll.
Shout out to Courtney.
Yes,
absolutely, indeed. Courtney. Big ups.
Shout out. So, fellas, let's talk about week 4 of the National Football League, recapping. Pretty much. Everyone won except for the Commanders. So look, y'all, look, y'all gotta be kind. Man, it happened.
I was cheering for y'all, man. I was cheering for you.
I understand, Cool, but we let you down, Cool. We let America down. I'm sorry, but we here. So let's talk first. We'll talk about the Dallas versus Washington, where obviously the Cowboys won that game 25-10. Ben, you got a great win on your birthday week. So just your thoughts on your week 4 victory.
Yeah, it was good, man. It looked real good. Obviously the defense looked fluid, the offense looked fluid. They were running the ball. I was just looking it up. Zeke had 19 carries, 49 yards. Obviously it's not great. That's 2 yards a carry. But Cooper Rush again, which I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, not making mistakes. Man, that is one thing about this guy that you cannot deny is that he does not make mistakes. And there was a couple of possible interceptions that could have happened, but they ended up going our way. There was some penalties called, but yeah, man, I love how what this team is looking like, and I think this again shows that defense does win championships. It's rare that you got a team like the Rams, which are kind of all mainly offense, so that's what they were put on paper as. But yeah, I feel good. I feel good going into this next week, and the defense is definitely legit.
Yeah, and definitely huge shout out to our guy Nathan. He's doing his thing. He's out in Costa Rica doing his thing. He was on the show last week representing the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? It's definitely huge shout out to our guy. And yeah, and once again, they're doing here. So Cool and Sam, guys had a 29-21 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your thoughts on that matchup?
That game was very scary to start off. When I actually turned on the game, I missed the start of it. We were down 14-0, and we were driving the ball. Luckily, we scored pretty quickly after I turned on the game, but at first, it was looking pretty bad, but ultimately, we ended up getting the W, and I'm pretty happy ultimately. But we definitely showed some weaknesses, so I've got some concerns.
Yeah, I mean, we did win, but like you said, definitely concerns. But one of the questions that we answered, and that was, can we come back? So the good thing for me about it was that was the first time where we were actually down, 14 points, and then we had to come back, get in the game. Defense had to continue to hold, and then we had to score points. We did get 3 points in the second half, y'all. We got 3. So some scored in the second half, but like Sam said, still weaknesses, still concerns that need to be addressed. But I do feel like we're looking better, every week. Also, the big thing this week was the guy that I've been the hardest on, besides the dude that we jettisoned to the Vikings, Miles Sanders, had a very solid, strong running game. And I love Trey Sermon. Big bowling ball. He's got to stay on the active roster. He's got to. That's the back we've been missing.
Yeah, and actually, good point. Like what Courtney was saying, Eagles showing that they can win any type of game, and I think we talked about that. Cool. I think on one of the shows that we've done, and it's like once they get their act together, that's where it's like that's the kind of the scary thing about it. Where, like I talked about in our matchup, we played y'all 2 weeks ago. It's like, yeah, like we will get our lick back. I'm like, we didn't play the best Philadelphia Eagles team that we played. So we played them on November 14th. We're probably gonna have a different type of team that we'll be playing in about 6 weeks. So it's scary. Like, once they kind of get to where they need to be. But
yeah, I know. I just want to throw this in real quick. It's a long season. So I mean, Courtney's point, there's going to be blowouts, there's going to be comebacks, there's going to be a lot of stuff that can happen in an entire season. So in our whole division, that's why we trying to uplift you a little bit, Coach, because you never know what could happen in a long season. Injuries, we know how this division is. So
for sure. Oh yeah, it's definitely not not despair, but to even talk about the Dallas loss, it's disheartening. It's another one where it's a game that slipped away from our hands. Like this was a game that, if you look at it from the last 3 games, this was the opportunity for us to potentially win this football game, and but we didn't take full advantage of it. The offense is putrid, obviously. Even though we didn't get the 9 sacks against in that Philly game, but we did get the first 3 possessions were a intentional grounding, which you can chalk it up as a sack. Essentially, that pressure did come from Dallas, and only if you want to look at it from a half glass perspective, we did stop their run game, which I thought that was something that was solid. But in the same token, we still got stupid penalties. Obviously, the 2 penalties, especially the William Jackson face mask, I thought that was the most idiotic thing that they could have done, especially in that drive where he had an interception on that play, and then he goes on and blow it by having that face mask and the stupid penalties. And then the simple fact of our pass defense is, once again, it's rearing its ugly head even in 2022. So it's getting a little tiresome, to say the least. But yeah. So Wise, you guys got a great win last week against the Monsters of the Midway. Your thoughts on that, on your victory against the Bears?
It was it just goes to show you we're still growing as an offense. We finally scored 2 touchdowns in the first half. We hadn't scored in the first half in like 18 quarters or something like that, whatever the number was.
Wow.
But it was a long time since we scored in the first quarter. I love seeing, and the thing was, the 2 scores were by Daniel Jones, like 2 bootleg to the outside, and it just goes to show you, like, if they play together and Daniel Jones does not fumble the ball. My key was he has to maintain he can't. He's like, he just can't hit. Every time it seemed like every time he was getting hit last year, he was fumbling the ball. At least this year, he hasn't really been fumbling. He threw the 1 pick in the Dallas game, but he's actually been reliable with the ball. And I felt now that he has Brian Dable as the head coach, he actually has someone who knows offense and someone who can use his abilities the right way. Because Daniel Jones has an arm. He's very athletic. Get him a line. Let's see what this guy could do. Everybody wants to beat him up, but he's already getting beat up. This offensive line he has is getting him murdered. So I don't know how they expect him to be consistent if he's on his back most of the time.
100%. I actually saw a very interesting statistic about Daniel Jones this week. He's second right now to only Mike Vick in terms of first down runs since the year 2000 with 18. Mike Vick had 20. So just goes to show you the kind of athlete that Daniel Jones is, and he kind of gets slept on in that category.
Yeah. And he doesn't use it often, at least it doesn't seem like. But to have 2 last week, that was impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed.
Hey, I'm way past 29, CJ, but appreciate the love.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, I was like, wow, 20. I'm like, God, I want to be 29 again.
He joined the big boys club now. He's part of the big boys club now.
The big 4-0, man.
Oh, for real? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a great milestone.
40 club now.
Yeah, he's the big boys club, definitely. But to me, I felt they played a great game. They didn't give up a touchdown. The defense is it's gonna be it's once Thibodeau gets going and we get Williams back, Dexter Lawrence is a beast. He's killing it this year. Like, he's one of the best defensive linemen in football, and for the man his size, to the way he runs, it's amazing. So I'm looking forward to some big things. Our secondary is playing pretty well. We just need to shore up our linebacker crew, and I expect us to beat the Packers. Honestly, I seriously do. I do. I think we can beat the Packers. I think if we put that pressure on Brett Favre, on Aaron Rodgers, they need to be putting pressure on Brett Favre for that bullshit he's pulling.
Yeah. The law need to be putting pressure on him. That's another story.
I echo your sentiment with the Giants winning. I picked the Giants to win, sir.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I was like, dang, guys. I'm like, y'all playing? I know y'all playing in London. Y'all playing in the volleyball stadium or no?
I think they can definitely. I definitely think they could go get him. They can go after Aaron Rodgers and force him to throw to. He doesn't have faith in his receivers, man. He doesn't trust the receivers he has, and we're pretty. Besides the Dallas game, we've been holding our own against the run. Like, nobody's really been able to run on us besides the Dallas game. And again, we didn't have Leonard Williams at the game. He's one of the big parts to our run stopping defense. And so I really think we can do it. I think if we make sure Aaron Jones doesn't beat us and make Aaron Rodgers beat us, I don't think they have the receivers to really do anything. I don't think he has faith in them.
And he's having to learn them, really. I mean, Romeo Dobbs? He said he's got some comparisons to Devontae, but the guy's a rookie. So it's like he's having to really start over. Besides that, the tight end,
Tanyan,
right?
Tanyan, yeah.
And Lazard, wasn't Lazard there last year?
Yeah, is he still hurt or is he back? I don't even know.
He's back, but he had a decent game last game, but Lazard alone, he's not a real number one. He's not like a difference maker. I actually got wise in them winning the game too, because I feel like they're going to be able to get after him defensively. As long as you can limit the run game, you don't have to necessarily shut it down. You just have to make sure they can't get the big plays, and you have your own big play running back and your quarterback.
Saquon's been doing this
more mobile, I think, than Aaron Rodgers. So I think, the Giants have a good possibility to get an upset here, and I'm picking them to get that upset.
Yeah, big time. And so
I agree with you that, CJ. I definitely agree with you that he ain't got no other choice but to run the rock.
Right, and it's unfortunate, especially how that line is, and they're gonna get there. That's the thing about that line. It's patchwork at this point, but they're gonna get there.
It's their first year together. It's still a lot of pieces coming from.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them that have been in the system in Buffalo or whatever. But this is basically a whole new line, and if I know we all know football. I played football. We all know that line. It takes some time to gel together. It takes some time to really figure out each other, really get to know each other. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for what we're capable of doing if we get healthy and we can actually find receivers. Even I can't say that because Richie James been playing well. He's been surprising me a lot with what he's been doing, but
Yeah.
Galladay needs to step up. We need Tony is hurt. I haven't seen the Ricky Robinson on the field, so we missing some components that we felt that were going to be a big part of the offense.
Yeah, your boy Galladay, I'm about to get a one-way ticket out of New York.
Listen, that was David Gettleman's last poison pill before he left.
He playing lazy.
That was the apple of his eye. You know.
I just want to say I'm Rick James.
I'm Rick James. One of the best skits of all time.
Yeah,
for sure. A goat segment for sure.
Yeah.
Every time I see Richard James, that's the first thing I think. I'm Rich James.
Right. And like you said, Wise, like that line, then you think about like, especially you combine it with like Evan Neal down the line, like he's gonna be like the anchor of that line. I mean, once they get themselves together, that line you can damn near cancel Christmas. I think that's gonna be a solid unit. Down the line.
You can see the difference that makes with like Philadelphia, right? Milata's out with injury, but even he got hurt last week. We have other guys that you could step in and kind of have some consistency. They've done some work with the line, but a line is super important, man. Like especially with any type of quarterback, especially a young quarterback, but any quarterback. If you can protect them, a lot of these quarterbacks, are at least mid-tier, right? But you can't get protected. It's definitely very hard.
That's a confidence that builds your confidence. If you know you don't have time, you can make mistakes. You can ill-advised throws. You can try to squeeze it in. You can try to run. I mean, like that's the most important thing.
Yeah, speed up that internal clock too much, and you're making bad decisions as well too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yep. Big time. So moving forward now for our week 5. So week 5 of the NFL season for this NFC East, it's interesting. So, obviously we the NFC East, we got a team that's going to go east. We got 2 teams that are going west. And then we got the Commanders at home. So what an interesting week for the NFC East. So first we got we'll talk about the early matchup. So Wise, get your you got to wake up early. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Like,
I'm already up by 2:00 in the morning getting ready for work. So,
wow,
yeah.
Wow, that's when I'm going to bed sometimes.
Right.
Sure. No,
that's
right.
why
Right.
cool with that. I'll be like, yo, Pat. Once it's past 10:00, it's like past my bedtime.
When he said he got up at 2:00, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I get up at 2 because I got to be at work at 4. But I guess like I was saying before, I feel we can beat the Packers, man. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is that guy anymore. He's still Aaron Rodgers, but he ain't that guy no more. Listen, he's the last few years he's been choking in the playoffs. He has a great regular season, comes in the playoffs and lays a goose egg. And now without Devontae Adams, I think he can be had. So I'm definitely feeling my Giants, and I think that defense is going to put pressure on them, and the defense is going to win that game for us.
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in on this 9:30 a.m. kickoff?
I'm actually going to get up and watch this game. And like I said, man, I believe that they can actually win this game too. I kind of spelled out how I think that they can win it already. But I would love to see, more than one NFC East team step up and beat these Packers and show people that we are not the NFC East. We the beast. We are the best division of football right now, and it won't stop.
Was that 9:30 Eastern time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, dear Lord.
8:30.
The game kicks off at 7:30 here.
Yep.
Okay.
Even better.
That's
Football
early,
all
early.
day this weekend.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers can be that guy at this point in his career when he wants to be. I had some friends over watching the afternoon games, and they were like, "Yeah, he can be that guy when he wants to be, or else he can pout and he can complain and whatever else he wants to do." Right. Now, I love our division, but I set it on Snowman, so I got to keep my prediction. So I'm actually going with the Packers early morning. I would love for it to go the other way though, but I think the Packers gonna win it.
Yeah. This is gonna be a really interesting game. Like you said, I think like it's gonna be like a contrast of styles. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers, he can rise to the occasion when he needs to, because obviously in the early parts of the season where you see where he kind of struggles, and then he kind of it's like an off and on switch for him. But yeah, give me this. Yeah, I definitely think the Packers gonna take care of business. But shout out to your boy Daniel Jones, the Duchess of Durham. So I think he'll be. I think
I
he'll
like
be
how you
solid.
what you said there. I like that.
but yeah, give me the Packers in this one. I think, but yeah, but 9:30 start. I always like those type of games. Like as far as like, cause I always wonder how it is like in the East Coast. I mean, being in the West Coast, like how they always say, oh, the first game's at 10 a.m. I'm like, what's wrong with that?
No, when I went to Vegas, right, I went during football season one time, and the game was on at 10 o'clock. But by the time the late game is on, right, and it's over, it's like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So you've enjoyed the whole day of football.
Yeah.
And it's still early. You can still go out.
You gotta look at the positives.
I know.
Exactly.
Because I remember I was in Washington State and I was watching games like I was at a work assignment, and I was watching games on my lunch break, and I'm like, then I could come home to the room, and then like I could have a peaceful dinner, and 7, 8 o'clock, everything's all over. I'm like,
if you
might
could
be
stay
a
awake.
good thing.
Because when I went to Vegas, I was still on the East Coast time clock. So everybody else was like 8, 9 o'clock. For me, it was like 11, 12. I was out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jay. Jay is one of the co-hosts for the Eagles Elite podcast, hopping on to check us out tonight.
Yeah.
Well, he's spitting some facts right there. I like it. So I was actually having a conversation today about Russell Wilson, and somebody chimed in about Aaron Rodgers and how Aaron Rodgers has overcome the weapons he's had around him. And I'm like, wait a minute. How many Super Bowls has Aaron Rodgers won? And what was he complaining about the last season in which he wanted to leave Green Bay because he didn't have enough weapons? So is he really that elite at this point? I don't think he is. I think he realizes he needs the weapons around him to succeed, and it's time for him to get those in order to be the elite quarterback everybody thinks he is at this point.
Yeah, and I think what we do. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
I know you're good, but yeah, I think the real issue is they need to move San Francisco to the AFC. Other than that, then well, that's not gonna happen. So
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, Ben.
No, you good. I think what we do as the media, not us maybe, but the media in general, we put people too high than what they really are. It's natural. You see a guy and you think, oh, he's the greatest guy ever. Is he really though? He won one Super Bowl. A lot of time we use Super Bowls as that
the measuring stick. Yeah.
Yeah. Or we do it as stats. You can say Dan Marino and other people.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot of it's your impact. Your impact on the game. And this comment on I think Russ is the better, overall. I think with the skills that he has on both things. But Aaron Rodgers is he's won 3 MVPs, right? Back to back, and then he won the one earlier. So
and he's a perfect case too, where Aaron Rodgers is almost like when you look at a newspaper article, you read the title, but you don't read the content of what's actually in the article. Because what happens is back-to-back MVP. Ooh, that's sparkling. Like that validates him in essence. But like we said, I mean, he has had his failures. So actually CJ he said it was 4. Yeah, 4. I forgot, because it's
11, 14, 20, 21.
Yeah, he did have
I forgot about that one too. Yeah.
A lot.
But yeah.
No, but nobody's ever said he wasn't a bad man. We all know he's a bad man.
Well, the Negro Knight definitely has said he's a bad man on several occasions.
he be sucking them off, but yeah, he does. But is he enough to take them to the next level? Is he like what quarterback do you know besides Brady who hasn't hasn't had really great receivers and won consistently. Like every quarterback that's basically one has had that go-to receiver. He doesn't have that.
Not in this modern era. Nobody I can think of in this modern era that we can really, because you think about it, like you said, Brady. Because I mean, damn, Brady done won 7 of them.
Yeah, but Brady, he was plugging in. You had Wells Walker, you had Edelman, you had Moss, you had receivers there. Like so, it wasn't like he always. He's always had weapons. Yeah, Gronk.
Yeah.
To be
Craziest
fair, though,
part of that is when he had the best wide receiver ever, they didn't win that year.
No,
right.
They had Moss, they didn't win.
They only lost one game that year. They only lost one game that year.
Yeah,
right.
That mattered.
Yeah.
Shout out to the New York Giants for that.
And that's why I was saying, like, we really don't have a case study, because I mean, you think about it, in 20-something years, he's won 7 of them. He's been in 10 or 10 or more. So he's really like the only example in this modern era as far as a quarterback that have they had like decent wide receivers in there during their Super Bowl run. So
And the interesting fact, I just want to point out, the 3 Super Bowls that he did lose were all to NFC East teams.
Yes.
So, to make sure everybody remembers that fact.
For sure. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Put some respect on the beast.
For sure. But yeah.
It was almost 4-0 too, or 4 wins for that matter. If Donovan McNabb hadn't puked in the huddle.
Or if they weren't, and if they didn't already have all the plays before the game and weren't calling out the plays to the players on the field because they cheated.
Well, it was still a close game even with that. So just saying, NFC East has the Tom Brady's number.
For sure. I'll co-sign it, even though this one of the ones I take credit for it, but didn't do no work. Didn't contribute at all.
Hey, right now you're just being an SEC fan. It's all good.
Hey. What the little crime meme on Next Top Model, the girl's like, I got you, cool, yeah. All right, so fellas, let's see. All right, I guess Commanders home game, week 5 versus the Tennessee Titans. Fellas, you guys' thoughts on this matchup, and then also the storyline in this matchup obviously is the return of Brian Robinson. Guys, we'll go around the horn. Whoever wants to go first, your thoughts on this 1:00 Eastern Standard Time kickoff.
First of all, I just want to say what an amazing comeback by Robinson. I mean, the fact that he was shot just like a little over a month ago and he's going to come back and play in this game is amazing to me. The fact that he's even ready to go, just 5 weeks later is insane. But with that being said, I'm looking forward to the Commanders this weekend. I think this is going to be a great game. I think the Titans are going to give them everything they can take, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch. I think ultimately Tennessee is going to have their hands full with Washington as well. I'm thinking like a 24-21 type game.
Okay. Who are you picking?
That's a tough one. I'd probably say Tennessee at the end of it, but Washington's going to give them everything they can take.
Yeah, I mean, you got King Henry, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's going to probably have a monster game and eat on the Commanders' defense. The only thing is Ryan Tannehill has regressed. So I think he still played better than Carson Wentz this year, but definitely some regressing. And the targets that he has is nowhere near, the quality. But I think when you look at the Titans, what they've been able to do with their defensive line, the way they've been able to run the ball, King Henry kind of has gotten back on track. I think Washington will be able to stick into the game because I think, Robinson's going to provide them with something they haven't had so far if he's, fully healthy and ready to come back, which I, hope he would be if they're going to actually allow him to play. Going to go Tennessee, but I wouldn't be surprised if Washington was able to pull out the upset.
Yeah. I'm going to go the same way. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think King Henry is going to eat. There's only one play that I've seen him get tackled. What was that, last week or the week before last? Somebody somebody laid him out. I've never seen that before on King Henry. But I do think the biggest thing about this is Commander Carson. That's cool. That's the biggest thing.
Hey, CJ, read my mind, bro. CJ, read my mind.
Can he not make mistakes? Because that's what they was talking about all game last week. You know, he can do it at certain times, but can he do it throughout the whole game? That's gonna be the biggest thing. I'm not a Ryan Tannehill fan. I honestly didn't even know he's been playing this year. So I mean that's how much it tells you I don't pay that much attention to Ryan Tannehill. But I think the big story about Brian Robertson being able to come back, to me, that's amazing. I'm just thankful to God that he survived it and it wasn't anything tragic, because we see so much tragedy that just happens, that this is going to be a great story. And if there was a possibility for them to win, I think having Brian on the sideline, if he even gets into the game, which is a possibility, I think that emotional boost can definitely do something to a team.
Yeah. And yeah, this is an interesting match. Like you said, and I'll start off with the Brian Robinson angle first. Yeah, it was, it's kind of one of the things where even fast forward to 6 weeks ago when I heard the news, and I've got was in one of the chats I'm in, and they were saying, at the time I was like shot, and I'm like, because in my mind I'm already distinctly, it kind of reminded me how I felt 15 years ago when hearing about Sean Taylor. So the first thing in my instinct before his condition, that's the first thing I thought, like, oh my God, like he's been shot. And it's one thing where you think to yourself, like, God, like the tragedy of that, in the sense where you're like, oh, he was, weeks away to become starting running back in this for this team, and then just the miraculous comeback. I mean, shot on a Sunday, then came to the facility, on Tuesday. 48 hours after the incident, and then because the funny thing with Brian Robinson, his essentially his role as far as when he comes to the running back room, he has to provide snacks. So I don't know if you guys seen when he was in the facility, he had a thing of Oreos in his hand. So that's what he's supposed to, as far as give to the running back room. That was his job as his rookie duty, is to bring snacks. So he bought cookies that day. So I like that, and then just everything like the miraculous. The even the extent of the injuries where it didn't hit any like structural bones. It's kind of one of the things where it's like he's destined for something. Like this is, it's gonna be something that's gonna be, something that's like you said could carry us over. Like it could be an emotional half of this team. But for the game, it's funny when I looked at dissecting this matchup. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you guys know that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing to each other. Yeah. It's a lot of like, it's like you see a lot of, and it was weird like dissecting this matchup. It's a lot of similarities that we have. We also have obviously the two quarterbacks in Ryan Tannehill and Carson Wentz, who pretty much once they essentially see pressure, they're an entirely different quarterback, and they're both the same. Where both can be mentally rattled. Yep. And I think in order for both of these quarterbacks to be successful, it's going to be predicated on the run game. So whoever's I think essentially has the best run game could potentially take care of business in this matchup. And then we always have. Well, I was talking about this porous, pass defense. Tennessee has just as bad as a pass defense than we are. They've been giving up, and even our boy, he our age. Matt Ryan, pretty much, he did his thing. So, you look at that, it's something that you look at. But I'll be the lone wolf. I know Ben says his things. Cool said his thing. Sam, Wise, and even
I didn't even pick my team. I haven't picked yet.
And you're not the lone wolf, so you got somebody in the chat that's agreeing with you already.
I didn't pick, even though I'm going to pick the Titans. I hadn't picked.
See,
if you go to Jay's comment,
there you go, right?
If you go to Jay comment,
okay,
there you go.
So I ain't the lone wolf. Appreciate you, Jay, but I
hadn't picked it, but to me, I feel like Ryan Tannehill is a much more manager of the game than Carson Wentz.
I would say be careful what you say.
Yeah, no. I think he manages the game better than Carson Wentz does. I'm not gonna say but to me, you don't know what Carson Wentz you're gonna get.
Okay.
Like you're gonna get Carson Wentz that was like almost MVP a few years ago, or you get the one that just can't get it going and this looks horrible and so I just feel like they're gonna get a lot of King Henry and Tannehill's just gonna manage the game, not throw any costly interceptions or anything or fumble the ball. So I'm going with the Titans.
Okay. And I got the Commanders winning 21-17. Yeah, and I'm gonna stick by it. Cool, man, bro.
Well, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at
CJ comment.
Yeah.
CJ always
brother, we know which
in
Carson
the
Wentz
chat,
he
man. Oh boy.
Hey man, y'all put some respect on my QB, okay?
I cannot do such a thing, sir. I can't do it.
That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. And whatever you say about him, CJ, it's not fair. It's not fair. So, fellas, we got another matchup. We got the Cool and Sam's undefeated Philadelphia Eagles going to the desert to play the Arizona Cardinals. Somewhat of a situation where this team hasn't won in over almost 21 years to the date. And in this matchup, I understand, do you guys look at this as a potential trap game? So I'm gonna go with my NFC East leading brethren, Sam and Cool. Who want to go first? Your thoughts on this Week 5 matchup in Arizona?
Cool, you want to start?
I'll start it off. This is a little bit of a trap game to me. We got Dallas next week, so we got to prepare ourselves to make sure that we take this game as serious as we need to. A lot of people think, Arizona is, the donkey word, you know what I'm saying? And that they should be an easy win and we should go in there and smack them down. But like you said, we haven't won there in a while, number one. Number two, there are still weaknesses. We should have Slay back. We don't have our starting left tackle. He's going to be out. So that's, a position where we have a solid backup, but still you're going to be concerned because your starter's not there. There's a reason he's a starter and not the backup. We should win this game. But this is one that concerns me just because psychologically it's easy to overlook them. I don't think Hurts and the crew will intentionally do that or attempt to do that. But let's be real. When you have a game that's going to be as big the next week as us versus Dallas, it's easy to start looking past the team that you're playing this week a little bit. I hope that it don't do that. I hope that we run the ball like we did. I hope we're able to show more versatility. And I hope we're just able to go out there and just bend Arizona to our win. What we need to do is the second half, we need points, not 3, but we need 10, 17, 24 points in the second half. Let's go out there and put together a complete game against Arizona. This is the tune-up game that we need for next week. Let's treat it as a tune-up game, but in the right ways and not the wrong ways.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I do think this is ultimately a trap game because a lot of people are sleeping on Arizona as if they're not a good team. Yes, we all know Arizona's defense is suspect, but their offense can score points with the best of them. Our defense has shown to be a little weak at times, and that concerns me. So, I definitely think this is a game that could very quickly become a shootout. It just depends on how the defense plays in this game, and we need to run the ball. More Trey Sermon is not going to be a bad thing in my mind. So if we can get him a little bit more involved and keep the ball away from Arizona, I think it's going to play to our favor. Ultimately, I do think we come out of this 5-0, but I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, and it's going to be a shootout.
So, yeah, CJ, I'm going to have to disagree with you here, sir. One of these guys was NFC Player of the Month, and his name wasn't Kyler Murray. One of these guys spends his time watching film, breaking down, squatting. One guy spends his time playing Call of Duty. So I'm going to have to disagree with you, sir.
So, one thing. So, obviously with Jalen Hurts wearing that "Pray for all my haters," CJ getting prayed by?
He's definitely in his
Okay,
prayers. He's definitely in his prayers. Absolutely in his
Hey, well,
prayers.
he said he's really improved.
Yeah, he has to prove right. So yeah, I mean, that's who wanted to just make sure, you know, the
I'm just saying
clarification.
that bottom statement puts him in that group that's getting prayed for. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, hey,
I would agree.
The bottom one trumps the.
The top. What he did was he tried to do the old bait and switch. I'm gonna give him some credit, then I'm gonna take the shot. Now we looking at the shot. We looking at the shot.
you know,
Exactly.
what it used to be like, but no disrespect, but
Right.
That's when they're about to disrespect you.
That's how I took it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but you know, Cali got a bag though. So I mean, I guess
Now, I'll say this.
By
Hurts
acting
is about to.
Could
baby.
possibly be more talented. Kyler could possibly be more talented. But I don't think he's a better quarterback so far.
I'll say this. I think it's gonna be a great game. It's a game I definitely want to watch. What time is that game? 3:25.
4:20. This is 4:25 our time.
Yeah,
So
I won't.
3:25 your
I'll have
time.
that game because the Cowboys would be on. But I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a good back and forth. I like the matchup of the two quarterbacks. I like the matchup of both teams. So I think it's gonna be entertaining to the end. I
I'm
think it's
sweating
gonna
bullets
come
already.
back to that whatever that mistake, whoever's gonna end up making that mistake.
Yeah, I'm sweating bullets on this one, man. I am a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, because I just see that trap. You know, we should win, and most people are overconfident we are going to win. But I just see that trap, and I'm like, don't fall into it, guys. Just don't fall into it.
Exactly. This game scares me a lot, but ultimately, it's these games that define whether or not you're a contender.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any thoughts, Wise? Are you good?
For me, I don't know. For me, I feel it is going to be a trap game because you got Dallas next week, and I don't know if you might be thinking a little bit ahead of yourself, thinking like we're going to get through Arizona, and we're just waiting on that. We got Dallas coming up, so it could be that Arizona comes in and surprises them because they might be like, oh, we got this, we're gonna beat them, and we want Dallas. So it's lined up to be a trap game, but at the end of the day, I think Jalen Hurts and them pull it out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a definitely great matchup. Obviously, the two former Oklahoma quarterbacks, so that's gonna be definitely interesting of how that's gonna play out. And then, like you said, this is kind of one of those. It's Arizona is just a tricky place, regardless. Like as far as just to win a football game, it's just bizarre how that how it plays out. It feel like it's like things happen uncharacteristically happens in Arizona for opposing teams. But I think like you said, it is somewhat of a trap game. This is and it's weird to say it like this, like kind of the NFL in a sense. Because I know we really lend that trap game phraseology like to college, but this would be the ultimate one because obviously we know essentially this is going to be we know next week's going to be a marquee matchup. This one's going to be an under the lights matchup, and that could be potentially where Dallas could potentially be in a place to potentially be in first place. When it's all said and done with, potentially in this game. So I think you guys will overcome it. I think Philly, I think you guys will take care of business. I think it's just going to be one of those where the spurts, like as far as scoring in the second half, are you guys going to be able to do that? And I think even showing what you've done in the past, as far as having big leads, then obviously in the Detroit game, kind of like getting Detroit back in the game, and then even last week against Jacksonville where they was up 14-0.
Am I frozen?
Uh-oh.
Is it Coach?
I think it might be Coach. We'll see if he come back. Couple comments. He just said, I need the Cardinals to win. And I think D-Hop is back in the building. I just read a story. I know he's not playing this week, but him coming back could definitely add something for the Cardinals, going on throughout the season.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll keep it going. We'll see what we get with Coach. But let's get to say the best for last. That's what the saying says, right? Cowboys at Rams, Week 5. I'm looking forward to this matchup for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I think this is a big test, definitely for Cooper Rush. What he's been able to do so far has been amazing. I think going up against this caliber of defense, we already know Aaron Donald, we know Ramsey, we got to talk about this real quick. Ramsey says, I don't know if he's ever said he's a top corner or what he said, I'm him. Well, you're him that's getting burnt this year, fam. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. He's starting to drop down a couple tiers, man, because you can't be talking as much trash and you getting abused. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I think when it comes to this Cowboys game, they beat us. I don't remember what year that was. With CJ Anderson was running all over us. I don't know if y'all remember that year, but I'm still bitter from that experience. So I'm looking for the boys to come back. Parsons is going to be physical, going to be everywhere. But I think it's going to be a tough game to win, especially going to LA and Rams coming off a spanking that they got by the 49ers. So this is going to be, I think, the game of the week right here, because you got a team coming off a 3-game winning streak, and you got the other team coming off a loss on the big stage. So it's going to be a great matchup, and then you get to see Aaron Donald and Michael Parsons going at it. So I got the Cowboys winning, of course. I'm not going to go against them. So I got them winning in a close one.
I could definitely see that. I think Cooper Rush is playing very well. The Cowboys definitely have to get that run game going, because if you notice, Cooper Rush is doing most of his damage in the play action game. So that's a big reason why he's found so much success. But when you got Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, you can't argue with that. I mean, that's an impressive backfield. So if they get those guys going, I think they are going to get another W this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to see Jaron Kearse. Hopefully he plays. He doesn't look like he's on the injury report, so maybe we see him. I think he's big time for this defense. Adding him back would be great. Jason Peters seems to be doubtful, so that could potentially hurt us. But I think Tyler Smith has really been holding his own for the most part. To be a rookie coming out of Tulsa, the one with the most penalties in college football, and to be playing the way he's playing, I think we may be good. Aaron Donald's obviously going to be the hardest thing we're going to have to stop.
I think Dallas has the defense to shut the Rams down. The Rams haven't really found themselves just yet. They just lost to the 49ers. They got abused by the Bills. I don't think he's spreading the ball around like he's supposed to. Like, it's Cooper Cup or nothing. And for them to win, they need to get the running game going. They need to do all these different things, and then it opens it up for Cooper Cup. But other than that, I think this Dallas defense is just going to be too much for them. They have of course, the best linebacker in football, Michael Parsons, and I like their secondary. They got a squad, man. I like Gregory, all whoever. I like their line. They have, for some reason, they lose defensive linemen and plug them back in.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, and I mean, being coached by Dan Quinn is
you lose this.
Major.
You lose this guy to Denver. He reneges on the deal, and it's like, still don't miss a beat. This defense is legit. This is a championship defense. This is one of those defenses that if your offense can score you some points, y'all could win a 24-21 game, 24-17 game. This defense is built for that.
Yeah. And quietly, Anthony Barr was a hell of a pickup. I didn't think they were going to get him because they were saying he wanted more money. And then when it came across my timeline, I was like, man, I got to go tell somebody. We just signed Anthony Barr. But he's so quietly, man. He's been great.
That defense has been the best, and Cooper Rush has not, like you said, has not made mistakes. He's managing the game. They're running the rock. He's managing the game. My question is that when Dak comes back, do they keep the same formula?
That's the question.
Do they realize that that's what opens up the rest for Dak? If you can get those running backs going, that opens up the play action pass. That opens up everything else.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for Dak is he's been watching on the sideline with the headphones in. There was Kyler Murray, and this was preseason, but he was calling plays and he was listening to plays. I think quarterbacks have to see it on the other side for them sometimes to see what I can improve on, which he's already said, like, hey, there's some things I'm learning from Cooper Rush. And I think that's humbling to be able to say that, but that's real too, because his accuracy can sometimes be off. His down the field passing can be off, or sometimes he doesn't even do it. So I think this is beneficial. And I think he needs to sit out until he is 100% healthy. I don't want to hear, oh, I'm able to throw balls with my other hand. I don't care about that. You need to be able to throw with the hand that you throw with. And they said it's still swelling and stuff like that. So I'm like, just wait, man. There's no need to rush for a immediate gratification when you got a long season, man. We need you hopefully in the playoffs. We don't need you right now in week 5.
I just gotta touch on a couple of CJ's comments. So CJ, 114, bro. Hey, yeah, come on, man.
Not gonna be able to do that.
Y'all should probably win that game. Also, here's the other thing. We'll propose a scenario that would actually be better for you, CJ, than you wanting the Eagles to lose. So whether you beat us or you lose to us next week, the 4-1 Cowboys against the 5-0 Eagles has a much better ring to it. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I want to be ahead of the division, that's why I want y'all to lose this week and to us. Not so fast, because even if we're both 5-1 and you beat us head to head the first time, you'll still be in first place. So would you rather have the chance to be the one to take down an undefeated team, or would you rather just be another 4-1 matchup against 4-1? Think about that. Think about that.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's funny, like when it comes to the Rams, like it's their, normally when a team that wins Super Bowl or the loser is a Super Bowl hangover. Both of these teams are both experiencing Super Bowl hangover, and it's kind of odd where this would be a perfect opportunity to strike the iron wires hot, especially for Dallas end, where you look at this Rams team where you talked about their failures, but then they almost lost to the Falcons. They almost had a situation where they let the Falcons come back and almost beat them. So you look at this, how their body of work thus far, and then you see now where their offensive line is just horrible. And Dallas can definitely take full advantage of that vicious front. They'll take full advantage and then maybe potentially get those turnovers and get that pressure to Matthew Stafford and make big plays that way. And then, like you said, I think Cooper Rush, I think the thing about him is, hey, like the run game, like you said, run game helps it, and then he just plays action, and he just managed the game. It's no frills. Hey, just get the job done. Just make the throws when need be. Run the football when you can. But I definitely think the Rams will take full advantage of this matchup. I think they're going to turn the tide in this matchup. So I definitely got the Rams win this game. A close one is in SoFi. So,
And to Wise's point, they don't know. I think it's right. They don't know who they are. They got 0 running game. Nope. Daryl Henderson has 138 yards. Cam Akers has 118, and Cooper Kupp has 20. That's the leaders.
Cut it out.
That's the leaders. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it at all. So I think that's that. I think we are catching them at a good time. It's a good and a bad thing because they are coming off this loss, but they still haven't really found who they were. And to this comment from CJ, I love you, but nah, man. Cooper Rush is come in. Obviously, he's done great but it is an extremely small sample size. You're talking about 3 games to how many years has Dak been here? 4 or 5,
Seven.
excuse me. So I mean, I think this is what you need in a backup. Now, I do think this could be a good payday for Cooper Rush, though. The way he's playing this, he
Somebody's
should be
gonna look
getting
at him.
paid by
Yeah.
somebody else next year. It won't be us, but he'll be getting paid by somebody else next year. But I don't think you leave Cooper Rush in. I think that's a Jerry story that you say to get people talking about Cowboys. Once again, Jerry does not care if it's good, bad, ugly. He will get it in the papers, on the news, everywhere, because it makes the Cowboys money regardless.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
Yeah, we know who the quarterback of this team will be, and from a fiscal standpoint, we know who's going to be this quarterback once he's healthy. And like you said, Cooper Rush is a great story. Like, can this be sustainable throughout the next 14, 15 more weeks that we got left in the season? I doubt it very seriously. But, he's a great insurance policy when these things happen. So, yeah, I definitely agree. But, so, fellas, let's put a bow on the NFC Beast, man. Any final thoughts before we head on out tonight, fellas?
Check out the BS3. Check us out on the BS3 network. Check out all the programming on the BS3 network. It's got some great shows. My show, Poppy J and Wise, is on there every Friday night, 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. Check out my podcast, Stuck in My Mind, and check out Snowman in the Morning, also on BS3.
Yes, and this show is live right now on BS3 TV on Roku. Add the app on your TV. It's free. BS3 TV on Roku if you have a Roku TV or device. Also, BS3TVLive.com. If you don't have a Roku TV or device, we got you covered. Should be a great slate of games tomorrow. Wanted to see real quick the Sunday night game. Is that Raiders and Chiefs?
It's Cincinnati and Baltimore. Yeah. That's the Monday night. The Chiefs and the Raiders.
Maybe flex that one, but okay, we'll take it. But it should be a great slate of games tomorrow.
100%.
All right. Cool, Shady. Who want to go first? All right.
With that being said, you can catch me on Shady Sports Network basically twice, 3 times a week. I don't really have a set schedule at this point in time, kind of working around the players that I interview. But definitely catch us. We got weekly interviews. We got weekly articles coming up. And a little bit of an insight on an article I got coming up next week. You want to keep an eye on Noah Brown and what he does this weekend, because I ultimately think he's going to be a key to your fantasy football team. He's available in many football leagues right now. Go pick him up. He's a solid number 2 receiver for Dallas, and he's a guy who you definitely want to keep an eye on because he's doing good things right now, already setting career highs. Yeah,
and I'll piggyback off of that real quick. Noah Brown has been putting in work this off season. They say listening to Dallas radio, said he puts in work every off season. He just, when he gets those small opportunities, he doesn't capitalize on it. But now he's got a big opportunity, and he's about to get paid next year. So more props to Noah Brown. I hope he has a great game this week too.
Exactly. One of the things I like about him is kind of like a running back playing wide receiver. 6'2", 220 pounds, and currently he's actually graded higher than CeeDee Lamb. So just like I said, a little bit of insight into my article that's coming out Monday or Tuesday right after the games.
Awesome. Can't wait for it.
Awesome. Wanted to give me a good breath before I get started. So Tuesday nights, we got the matchup madness. You can couch Coach and Wise on that with me, as well as contributors for the other NFL teams. Wasn't able to get Ben. He's a busy individual, so it's like that sometimes. Wednesday night, catch me on playcollegesportstalk.com/Eagles Elite. It's the Eagles Elite show. Jay, who's been in the comments, she's one of my co-hosts. Shout out to all the co-hosts. Go Birds, absolutely. On Friday nights, playcollegesportstalk.com, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's also on playcollegesportstalk.com, but that's then /live. And then, of course, Saturday nights, you can catch me here on the NFC Beast and Friday nights at 10 p.m. on Sports Empire Network. You can catch me on the N1 podcast, talking a little basketball, talking a little smack. But you can find me a lot of places.
Yeah. So obviously my podcast, Couch Coach Live, which you can listen to here on the NFC Beast. We're broadcasting live is there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. We do those shows Wednesdays, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And also my Washington Commanders centric podcast, Commanders in the Chat. You can check us out. Generally, we broadcast those on Thursday nights and then on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after our games. Then also, as Cool mentioned earlier, I'm a Washington Commanders contributor for the Play Callers Matchup Madness on Tuesdays. You can catch me there. And obviously here on Saturdays, contributing for the Washington Commanders here on the NFC Beast. And I'm few other things that's going on, but like I said, got to catch my breath on that one as well too. But hey, we just here. Hey, when it comes to Washington Commanders, hey, you probably see me doing something, But we here once again. Definitely appreciate everybody. We here. I was QB1 for the night, so man, this has been this week's NFC Beast. We'll catch you guys next week, and remember, it is the NFC East versus everybody. Don't get it twisted. We back. We catch y'all
fly,
next
Eagles,
week.
fly.
Peace.
Hail to the Commanders.